So we're back. It's been a little while. I did warn you that May and June was going to be a bit sketchy for the show being here weekly, guys, as we've been working on other projects. But I hope you're all well, and I hope everything's coming through loud and clear for you. As regulars of the show will know, I get a little bit uneasy when I'm not doing this weekly. When I'm doing it weekly, everything just works. I don't touch anything. But then when I'm coming and going, I'm working on other things, or kit gets taken apart and put back together again, I'm always a little bit nervous if it's going to work or not. So I hope you're well, guys. I hope your weekend is a good one. How you all been? I can see some of you have been enjoying the weather. Yeah, the UK has finally got good weather after what felt about like 5 months of permanent rain. Standard UK weather, but yeah, we've finally got good weather, which is awesome. And I even wore a hat for you all day today, guys, so I didn't turn up looking like an absolute beetroot, which I've done in the past when I've caught the sun and not been prepared. So I hope you're good, guys. If you're new here, firstly, hello. The usual drill is we like lots of people to say hello, tell us where they're watching from. Even if you're a regular, guys, tell us where you're watching from. It's always nice to know. And it also helps us target our content. If we've got we know we're kind of 50-50 UK US here, but every now and then we'll get a random one drop in that surprises us. So if you're watching and would like to share where you're watching us from, that'd be awesome. Also reminds us why we do what we do. So guys, tonight we've got a returning guest, so I'm looking forward to that in a few minutes time. But for those of you that have been wondering where the podcast version of when Amanda last joined us was, that the audio never really kind of made the cut, and I'm very conscious that if somebody has a bad listening experience, then they might not try out the other episodes. So Amanda's rejoining us shortly tonight, so we can really try and capture what we what we weren't able to last time. You can go see all the videos, by the way, guys, on YouTube. That's all still there, the video from our first conversation. But yeah, very much hoping that this can make it onto the podcast this time around. And if you don't know what I mean by podcasts, basically, let me pop this up on the screen here. So basically 99% of all of our interviews that happen here on a Sunday night end up in audio format. So you can go check that out. Amanda's already so animated in the green room. I wish I had that lady's energy. I wish I had that lady's energy. But yeah, thank you for everybody that's returning for the second time for this chat. That'll be awesome. A year on. Where has the year gone? Have we even improved? I don't know if I feel like we've improved, but maybe we haven't. I don't know. We'll keep trying to move forward. But welcome in, Nia. Welcome in, Sai. I hope you're good. Welcome in, Amanda. Even though you're a guest, you're still busy in chat on LinkedIn. Thank you for that. Who else have I missed who dropped in? Selby, I hope you're well, mate. It's been a while. I hope you're good. How's your weekend going? And same for all you guys. How's the weekend going? So a couple of bits of admin, which I normally throw in at the start before I lose everyone's attention. I've tried doing this at the end, and people leave as soon as our guest leaves, because let's be honest, they're the interesting one in this relationship. So basically, if you we have some availability. It doesn't happen very often. Normally we're booked up 3 months in advance on this show, such as the whirlwind journey we've been on with the Chronic Pain Club talk show. But as we approach conference season, people's availability gets a little bit sketchy, mine included. I'm not going to be around for half of June. I'm going to be out of the country. And I guess that applies to some of our guests as well. So things have moved around a little bit, which means we've got some availability. I think it's the last Sunday of May, the first Sunday of June, and then July, and we've got spaces in July as well, guys. So if you have a lived experience to share, it doesn't have to be limited to pain. Pain is a very loose term. Obviously this show started from an autoimmune and arthritis background. It's very quickly spread to way beyond that, and we talk about mental health probably as much as we do anything else. So so if you've got a lived experience story to tell that you think would be interesting, get in touch. If you are a medical professional and would want to talk about your great work, or a patient organization, or somebody in industry that wants to talk about the work you're doing to improve patient outcomes, we particularly feature here on this show anything that relates to shared decision making, people-centered healthcare, multidisciplinary approaches. Recently we had a really popular show when Martin Stevens joined us to talk about the research he was doing into chronic pain, which was fascinating, and we were very fortunate to have him join us as a guest. So yeah, it doesn't have to be limited to what we've had in the past, guys. We're fairly broad church here, and anything where we can do to help raise awareness of either good work that's being done to improve patient outcomes or lived experience to either reduce stigma, help others feel like less isolated, or educate others that might be a little bit ignorant to the daily life, then that's what we're here for, guys. That's what we're here for. So welcome in, Amy. I hope you're well. Sorry, I had a little notification thing for which threw me. I'm out of practice. So yeah, tonight, guys, we'll be joined by Amanda, who is joining us pretty much exactly a year on from. I cannot believe it's like pretty much a year on from last time. So those of you that follow my social media will know that May is exhausting for people like Amanda and I. We have Lupus Awareness Month, Arthritis Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month. Last weekend was the ankylosing spondylitis or axial SPA. Walk your ass off. I say ass because I'm British. I know it should be ass. It sounds so much more crude when I say it, just in my accent. So, who cares? You get the point. So I think we've had a fibromyalgia awareness either day or month. I can't keep up with them all. May is just wild for awareness stuff. So we're very fortunate to have somebody that's so busy in that space give up. Well, it's morning for them, but by the time they finish, we'll be sort of past midday. See, look at me with my time zones. I'm truly international now, guys. I'm just like a clock now. I can tell you if someone's joined us from the East Coast, West Coast, or Europe or whatever. Do I know you, by the way? Yes, I'm still waiting for you to turn up in Brighton. That was the other bit of news, guys. We had our latest in-person community meetup, which was lots of fun. If you want to get involved in future ones, you need to really be a member of our Discord to keep everybody safe. It needs to be people we know and trust. So if you missed out on the last community meetup and would like to be involved in the next, we haven't got a location for that yet, but please do give that QR code there a scan, get involved in Discord, hang out with us during the week. All these lovely people you're seeing in chat, like Amy and Nia and Selby and Sai, they're all in there during the week. It's more of a social pressure release place than it is there is a support forum in there where you can sort of lean on us if you need it, but it's mainly just to hang out with people who understand. You don't need to make excuses or apologize if you have to cancel or whatever. But if you want to get involved in that, let me know. I'm trying to work on a US one this year. I've got a couple of irons in the fire. I'm on the wait list for the Healthy Voices conference, so who knows, maybe that will materialize or something. Amanda's making lots of hand gestures, so maybe we'll talk about that in the interview. I'm seeing lots of fingers crossed. And also I have been invited to Vegas for the Health Advocates Summit to give a poster presentation, but it's extortionate costs, and I'm not going there sponsored by anyone, so that will depend if in the next couple of weeks I can suddenly rustle up £1,500 to get a flight and hotels over there. It'd be awesome, but my family sacrificed enough. If you're new to the show, Nia Cheeks, who you can see moderating there, is currently putting my son to bed whilst moderating, whilst keeping the chat going. She is also the person that's walking the dog and taking Dylan to school and putting Dylan to bed when I'm traveling. And like I say, next month I'm away. I'm away from home more than I'm at home. So there's the work I do for my advocacy. It puts a lot of pressure on my family, so I do have to pick and choose which opportunities I go to. But cycling back to the point, Joel, took forever to get there. If I can get to America this year, then we will absolutely arrange a community social meetup so I can meet some of you US folks over there. That feels like enough waffle for me for one night. And thank you to the people that scanned that code. I really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy what you find there. Guys, let's bring in our guest. If you hello Lou, quick hello. Lou's been awesome in supporting me lately, and thank you to all the other people that have sent me random messages over the last week or two when it's been a bit of a struggle. It's like at the end of the tunnel now. Hopefully I've got a couple of things I've got to not looking forward to getting through next week, but once they're out of the way, then hopefully it'll free us up. So anyone that's been wondering where I've been on Twitch the last couple of weeks, I'm really sorry, guys. I just had to prioritize other work, other projects, family, etc. We will be back on Twitch at some point, but trust me, there's lots of work been going on in the background. Nia Cheeks and others have been involved in. We hopefully got some massive news to share later in the year, but it does mean the Twitch streaming has took a bit of a back seat. And you know, I streamed like 3 figures. I was at one point I was streaming like 30 hours a month, and that was just not doable for me with all the other hats I wear in this space. Right, guys, I'm going to pop the chat off. If you've been in before, you know what's coming. If you want to carry on talking, so I can see that Lou's on X, I can see obviously Size on YouTube. You will only see the chat that are people that are watching where you're watching. So when this chat goes off screen, if you want to carry on in the chat, YouTube, I would recommend. If I quickly pop this up on screen, YouTube is where I'd recommend. The links there, Joel vs Arthritis, because that's where the majority of people are watching. You can carry on talking there. Otherwise, you'll be limited to only seeing the messages from where you're currently watching. So chat will disappear there. Look at me, all like pro. I'm also going to kill the music as well, because that might be a little bit off-putting for our guest. So, guys, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome in a returning guest, a year on from when they last joined us. Amanda Greene, aka the LA Lupus Lady, is probably one of the few advocates in this space who has energy that I would never get close to matching. As you can already see, and those of you that watched last year will, I'm sure, remember the slime and the dance and the hats. I'd like to point out the dancer was not for me, and it won't be for me. Amanda, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming back onto the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. The trick is I'm pretending today's May 1st.
Right.
I know it's May 19th, but I'm pretending it's May 1st, and it's the first day of, I'm trying to, because halfway through May, I'm exhausted. Just when you listed everything, Lupus Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, Fibromyalgia Day. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And on top of May, I'm just doing my regular life, living with lupus, living with mental health issues, living with fibromyalgia, living with gut issues, and everybody has so much. And then when it becomes May, I just ramp up. So I'm ramping up for you, Joel. I'm so glad to be back.
I do appreciate you giving up time, and you're very, like, what must be the busiest month of the year for you.
The Chronic Pain Club is not home, but I feel like it's home. And basically, I could talk all those open dates. If you guys want to have Amanda back, I can, I'll be more than happy to fill your Sundays. I've got lots of conversations.
Brilliant. And I'm sure there'll be people in chat watching this live that will be supporting that. So, but I know you're extremely busy, so thank you so much for giving up time in this month. It feels really important. We did just recently release a pod, or we got. Did we release it? See, I can't even keep up. That's how my May looks like at the minute. I think it's out there for lupus. Where we had another guest, Melissa, lovely lady, OT who lives with lupus, and with a little bit of internet magic as well, we might be able to get this one out too. So that'll be the first time we've done two lupus themed podcasts for Lupus Awareness Month, which would be awesome. And as I said in the intro or earlier, maybe before listeners joined us, we weren't able to get the audio from our last conversation, so I'm sorry for that. And the video was great, so anyone can go watch that on YouTube, youtube.com/JoelVersusArthritis. But for anyone that missed that, do you want to maybe give a little bit of an introduction? I appreciate you've done this a million times on a million platforms, but who you are, what you do, what you live with, etc., if you wouldn't mind.
I'll keep it kind of short, and if you have more questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask questions in the chat as well. I'm Amanda, and I was born this way, so I'll start that with I was born this way. You might know those words. I was diagnosed with lupus more than 40 years ago. So yeah, the day I was born. Thank you. Actually, I was 14, and one of the things is I'm allergic to the sun. So like Joel, I wear a hat, I wear my sunscreen, and I look like I was diagnosed on the day I was born. I live with systemic lupus. Because of that, I have chronic pain, and because of the chronic pain, I have issues with my mind and my body. Sometimes they don't necessarily connect. And I decided to share my story. And first I shared it with a local support group. And they're like, wow, you're a great storyteller. You should go to Congress. I'm like, I don't want to go to Congress. They're like, no, tell your story in Congress. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started advocating. In America, we go to Congress. In the UK, you advocate with the Prime Minister, or I don't know, the House of Commons. Like,
or shouting into empty rooms that nobody's listening. But yeah, okay.
I'll shout. Okay. Joel, if you need to, we can talk about how to advocate where you are, because
That would be amazing,
California,
because my social media is full of people like yourself going to Congress and doing all these amazing things. And here in the UK, I can barely get a policy manager to listen to me, let alone somebody in Parliament. I did get invited to my first
you don't need
Westminster
Parliament when you have
roundtable.
the Chronic Pain Club. Shout
Yeah, that's
out.
it.
If you're here, you know.
Yeah, we'll utilize our collective voice.
So I decided that I like traveling, so I'll go to DC. And I went to DC, and there's something powerful about, if you live with chronic pain or lupus, or chronic pain and lupus, whatever brings you here, you know that traveling's not always fun. It's not always easy. So when I advocate for lupus and I go on Capitol Hill days, it's ramping up. When I go to Chronic Pain Club, it's a different kind of ramping up. It's like, get my vitamins, sit down. So it's the same kind of joy I get from advocating on Capitol Hill that I do sharing my story here. I guess the story is 40 years, and lupus, there's no 2 days are alike. No two patients are alike. And it's okay if you disagree with me. We can agree to disagree. But I like to say that lupus awareness is fun. Mm-hmm. Lupus is not. And some people are like, lupus is not fun. And I'm like, I know, I just said that.
Yeah.
Lupus awareness is fun. Talking to Joel on the Chronic Pain Club is fun. Going to DC and sharing my story and impacting stakeholders is fun. Embracing my community patients one at a time on my iPad is fun. Taking the medication and the side effects of the medication, calling the doctor's offices, maintaining your medical health record, that's not fun. Yeah. And I've had 40 years of that. So when people are like, how is slime important? Like last year when I was stretching, because I'm like, because the body, if I don't stretch my slime, even though I don't have it, like, look, I mean, my range of motion is off the screen, literally off the chart. Hi, I'm sorry, I'll bring you back. But so my invisible slime has been fun. But this year, I wanted to find fun in a different way because I wasn't doing slime, which was a Healthy Voices Impact Fund project. Mm-hmm. So I know what it's like to be waitlisted for Healthy Voices 24. Joel and I should be off the wait list. Healthy Voices, if you're listening, when you're listening, Joel and Amanda, off the wait list. Just check us in. We're going to Princeton. And it's weird because it's like the Chronic Pain Club, but whether it's chronic pain or whatever, the Healthy Voices community is a community of, I think, patient advocates and patient leaders in the patient advocacy space. And so when you said, let's talk about Healthy Voices, I'm like, I'm waitlisted. I don't want to talk about it. Wait, we're talking about my mental health. So let's talk about mental health and Healthy Voices. Being on the wait list for Healthy Voices gave me, I don't need this during Lupus Awareness Month. I don't need this during Mental Health Awareness Month. And Joel, before we were live, you said something about friends or family noticing when you're about to, and that reminded me that you do have friends. Like, it's waitlisted. It's not a no yet. Maybe it will be a no. Maybe it will be a yes. But right now, you can't let the wait list for Healthy Voices impact the work you're doing today, which is May 2024, talking about the importance of balancing our mind and body, finding our balance. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like, I'm balanced. It just needs acknowledging how your mental health can impact your physical health. Yeah. And how, like, our physical health and our physical pain impacts our mind. And trying to not go down that tunnel and, I don't see anything except the dark places. Because, I mean, I'm obviously talking to people who have found Chronic Pain Club. So when you're here listening to the podcast and in the chat, you're part of the community. But even when you're not, it's 365. Like, I don't stop being a lupus advocate. I don't stop being a person in pain just because I'm not on the podcast, just because the calendar switches to June or August. Yeah. I mean, hey, Chronic Pain Club. Yes, Amanda. Hey, she's the May girl. Yes, I am. But guess what? 365 days a year. I mean, obviously, I'm very happy to be here.
because you're
I
always
mean,
doing amazing, like exceptional high level things in May. Like you do it all year round, but some of the projects and we'll come on to that shortly. I just want to talk a little bit about enjoying advocacy first. Yeah, what you always do in May is amazing. But I want to just go back to when you said about having fun with advocacy. When you came on here last year, you were the first person I'd ever heard say that, and it really changed it made me think differently about my perspective, because as somebody that always insists on being candid, showing the good days and the bad days, sometimes that felt hard to have fun of it. And I just wanted to highlight that because I recently was on the receiving end of we all get our trolls and stuff, anyone on the internet, but as your sort of, I suppose, the work you do grow, the more you encounter. And I recently had somebody that was very, yeah, I can imagine, yeah, I recently had somebody that was very angry about me not being sick enough, and how dare I try and be a voice for people if I'm not sick enough, because I'm able to do this, or I'm able to travel. So how can I be a voice for people with psoriatic arthritis? And it hurt. But then I also remembered Amanda's words from last year, where you said living with these things is not fun, but doesn't mean you can't have fun raising awareness with it. And I very quickly turned that. I wanted to be like the bear with the sore head, and very quickly turned that into, you know what, F you. I know I'm doing good. I'm going to enjoy the highlights because there's plenty of bad days. Yeah, and exactly. For people listening to this back, won't know the visual symbolism that's going on with Amanda at the moment. But yeah, it did help genuinely hearing somebody say that you could have fun with it. Because I hadn't heard anyone say that.
Or Joel, when you're feeling like crap, why don't you turn on your podcast and say, "This is my sick day, dude. Here's my, am I sick enough for you? I can't read the chat. If you're chatting, hi." It's like, no, we need you healthy enough to say hi to Amy, to say hi to Neil, to read the chat, to moderate. Like, if we're too sick to do it, you're going to see a little sign. We'll be back next week. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Please watch an old episode that you haven't seen, a previous episode of Chronic Pain Club that you haven't seen before, because, and you don't want to say it, I'm in too much pain to sit at my table and moderate, because it takes a certain amount of energy to do this, to be a guest, to moderate, to host, to lead the community. And take it or not, you're a community leader, Joel. You don't need to advocate in England at the House of Commons or the Prime Minister or the King of England, because you know what? You are the king of the Chronic Pain Club. I mean, not that there's a king and a royalty structure here, but what?
As you can see, like, a year on, I still can't take compliments, but I'm trying. I'm working on it.
No, but like, why are you laughing during Lupus Awareness Month? It's not funny. Why are you laughing about pain? It's not funny. I know it's not funny. But if we can find joy in sharing our stories together, I think that's pretty, can I say fucking awesome?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, fucking awesome. And what's really cool, and I'm just going to jump to it because I'm thinking about it right now, is that when I partnered with Joe Germanotta and Joanne's Restaurant in New York City to host the first weekend of Lupus Awareness Month, a dinner party at the restaurant in New York City, it wasn't just because, like, oh, Lady Gaga's father has a restaurant. Lady Gaga's father has a restaurant in New York City that is named for his sister Joanne, who died of lupus. And so I love, mental health moment.
No, you're fine. You take all the time you need.
I love going to the patio at Joanne's in New York and finding joy there. It's like finding, like, lupus awareness is fun. It's okay to have moments of joy while you're eating food, listening to music with friends at a restaurant that has a little bit of a tie to the lupus community. And this year, on top of having the restaurant, Joanne Trattoria in New York City, opened their patio up for us in May, we had Drink Joyous, which is a non-alcoholic spirit. I don't know if you're into mocktails.
I love a good mocktail. As somebody that has varying drugs that don't react well with alcohol, and so periodically I'm not able to drink. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, he just cut me off. Okay, I was going to say we had a non-alcoholic spirit. Okay, so just so I can clarify and pretend Joel,
steal your thunder.
We can share the storm. Not stealing my thunder, but why it was so important to me, because when I go to Joanne's, sometimes I can't drink because of the medication I'm on. But the resurgence or the upswing of non-alcoholic cocktails, you can still have a little bubbly and not impact your medication. So Drink Joyous, literally Joyus, Drink Joyous, sponsored along with Joe Germanata, the Lupus Awareness Dinner. So we were all able to celebrate and toast, whether they were vodka martinis or joyous cocktails, we were able to celebrate. And it was just a beautiful, incredible moment. And I'm like, wow, day 3. How am I going to make it to day 19? So
just another 3.5 weeks to go of the month.
Okay, so I'm just like I said before. Cheers to the Chronic Pain Club. Thank you so much for having me here, because it really does help my mental health. And it helps me reset for because we're not done yet. There's still 11 days left.
Yeah.
So talking to you, it gives me a little adrenaline shot. So thank you, everybody in the chat. You're my adrenaline shot. I can't stop looking at Simon's comment, Joel the Chronic King. Because it's kind of like
I've had a lot worse in chat whilst
LA Lupus Lady. Do I really want to be? I didn't want to be LA Lupus Lady. It found me kind of going back to my journey.
Yeah.
But a little bit about me is my family was in the music business, and I would always like LA Woman from the Doors song.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I picked my screen name, I'm like, oh, I want to be LA Lady. And then it was like age, sex, location in the beginning of the internet. I don't know how long people have been on.
Yeah, no, I very much remember that. Yeah.
So I remember I didn't want to write so I did LA Lupus Lady, and people were like, where are you, Louisiana? I'm like, no, Los Angeles, but they're at least noticing. So, and when they're like, well, what's lupus? What is that? I'm like,
yeah,
I have a platform. I didn't know. What is lupus? Well, how many words do I have? So Joel, do I have 5, 10, or 20 words?
You take as long as you need, especially because I feel very guilty.
No, but it's what is
slime.
It's like, no, but it's like, what is lupus? Well, it's a complex autoimmune disease. There, 3 words. It's a complex autoimmune disease that fucks up your life.
But when I have people answering that, I want to hear not necessarily what it says in the book, but what it means to you and how it affects you. So
I'm not a mom.
How would you describe it?
And people are like, okay, well, so physically you couldn't have a child. The medication I was on when I was childbearing years, it was no. So at the time I was married, and we looked into adoption, and I wanted an open adoption. And basically everybody there said no too, because those people are, giving up their babies, their children, to have a better life. And they're like, I don't know if you're going to be around in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. And I want my child to have a mom. So that's really when I started focusing on advocacy about 10 years ago. And I realized that advocacy could be my baby. Mm-hmm. It could bring me joy, but also it could take naps when my body said no, where a real baby wouldn't do that. And the kind of mom I would want to be isn't the kind of mom that has lupus. And I know that people with chronic pain are moms, and they do a great job. I just couldn't be the advocate that I am if I was a mother, because with lupus, I would be a lupus mom. I wouldn't be a lupus advocate.
Yeah.
And I know people at least in the lupus community and in the mental health community, and I don't want to assume, I would presume the Chronic Pain Club, their parents, if you're like, oh man, I wish I could had more time to advocate for my specific condition, but I'm too busy being present with my child. Mm-hmm. Please be present with your child. Yeah. Give half your attention to Joel and Chronic Pain Club when you can. But your child is the most important thing. Your health is the most important thing. Getting support from the community is important, but it's not as important as being present in your life. Yeah. Which I guess is one of the things I wanted to talk about today, is no matter how you were born, because like I said, I was born with lupus. I don't know any different. Yeah. How lupus impacted me. I'm tired all the time. Everybody some people in LA, oh, it's May, they're starting to plan their sun time. I'm going to look like this in June, July, August, September, October, January. I'm porcelain skin. A perk of lupus. I'm not going to get skin cancer. Wait, I hope.
You minimize the risk by staying out of the sun, at least.
But yeah, so it's just one of those things. Like for me, I know being in the sun impacts my health and my energy. If I'm going to exercise because that's what my body needs, I know that I'm going to exercise because it's what my body needs. I better rest because that's what my body needs.
Yeah.
And acknowledging that, like, oh, hey, I've been a little old lady my whole life, so it's going to be really easy transition as I age to become the little old lady with lupus. That makes sense. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm older. I'm older now than I was supposed. Then, like, I used to laugh. Man, she's 55 years old. What she should see a rheumatologist. I'm 15. I should not be seeing a rheumatologist. But now,
yeah, I used to have the same thoughts.
You know, I'm 56
yeah, and it creeps up on you.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking in the waiting room. And I'm like, oh man, I am age appropriate for this room. I've been here a long time.
Yeah, I suddenly don't feel so different in the waiting room anymore.
Time. I've been here I've been here 3 editors. You know, there's magazines that don't exist anymore. You know, paper magazines. It's like my waiting room material is my iPad.
Yeah.
By the way, listening to the Chronic Pain Club podcast on YouTube is a really fun way with headphones to spend your time during waiting room, because it's a really good energy booster before you go into the exam room to advocate for yourself. So that's what, like how you said, like you don't advocate, you know, you don't have Capitol Hill, but you have your doctor's office and you have the exam room. So even if it's one-on-one with your doctor, advocate for your health, advocate for your family, because I need to be a better Amanda so my family and friends can have a better, you know, we need Joel to have as much energy as possible without impacting his health.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, and people forget that though, don't they? They do, with because obviously this time around we're talking more about advocacy, because obviously people can go watch the previous video where we deep dived into your sort of journey and everything, and some of the sort of stigma and things you faced, and people do forget that, and I did for a long while, the first couple of years, because I kind of felt like I stumbled into this journey. What started as me sharing my story as a way of coping, as a little bit of therapy, I suddenly sort of found a voice I didn't know I had, and then here we are, which is just wild 5-6 years later. But I didn't see that in order for me to do the best I could with it, I had to look after myself. You feel guilty, and I don't know if you ever went through that process early on, but I certainly did. And I felt guilty. I felt like everybody else was worse than me. I had to carry their burdens and prioritize it before my own, and all that leads us to burnout and you not being able to do well. So it's no doubt that it's no surprise, I suppose, that fast forwards, and now I'm doing all that good practice, I am still struggling to celebrate the wins of advocacy, to enjoy advocacy, because you know there is just that person waiting in the wings to jump in your comments and say, "How dare you have fun?"
As if my body's not gonna come back and get me anyway.
Yeah, because we all know that if we're going to pay the price, you know, I said I'm traveling for 2.5 weeks in June. You ain't going to see a lot of me in July. That's just, and you made a really good point earlier in the conversation where you said, like, you know, people see me here when you're well, but they don't see you here when you're not, because they get a message saying tonight's show has been cancelled. So they get a very one-sided view of it as well, don't they? Because the output only happens when we're well managed and well.
Take a Polaroid of Joel in his robe, or Polaroid. That's how old I am. Like, this is what I look like today. You really don't want to see me. I don't have the purple backlight. I don't have the, you know, smiling
that's why
face.
I've tried to share on Instagram the real side as best I can, but you can't turn up and do it on video, because especially when it's the mental health side, that just wouldn't be healthy for anyone to see. So
here's my exposed brain. Put it together if you can.
Because all I'm going to do is bring other people down. So it's really hard. So I try. I don't know how you do it, but I tried to use. I'm all right with words, so I tried to use words to explain it.
No, I'm going to stop you right there.
Right. Okay. Am I going to get now told off by Amanda?
I need some help from the chat here. Joel bringing people down. I don't see it ever happening.
I bring myself down. Let alone other people.
Joel being authentic with his community and his team and his chronic pain club is always a win. Being authentic. Today, it's not happening, people. I could have easily woken up. Okay, I'm in California, so like a little earlier. Hey, Amanda, I know you've been planning on sharing on Chronic Pain Club today, but my body is not going to be able to sit at my desk and click start. So you do this, Joel. Let's go back. Joel, the Chronic King, man. Let's do this. I'm from California. Now I'm going to add the Chronic King, man.
If I ever sit here with a t-shirt on saying the Chronic King, I need shutting down.
Oh my God, let's get him. Let's get him one. Everybody should get one. I'll be the chronic. I just think any man, because, okay. And then I'm not a man. I don't know. As a woman, there's certain gender roles we're supposed to have. As a man, you're always supposed to be strong and tough. I have no idea what it must be like for a man like you with your family and friends. And you're so vulnerable and honest with your pain, because I mean, for me, it's like I have no other choice but to be honest. Otherwise, people won't understand. Like, whoa, she's like this, and then she's like this. What's up? It's like, this is the yo-yo. But Joel, what you do with your family every day, even when you're not on and you're not, I mean, the pregame for this that you do for each episode, it's like a full-time job. Chronic pain.
No one sees that.
But the people here, if they're in the Chronic Pain Club, they know that chronic pain is a full-time job. Imagine on top of the chronic pain and the life that you're living, you decide to open up to the community a wonderful safe space called the Chronic Pain Club. It doesn't just happen. It's taken a year to get here, more than a year for Joel to get here with Joel versus us. We're at Healthy Voices off the wait list at Health for Joel and I. We'll take a picture together. We'll have an in-person meetup. We'll do a Chronic Pain Club meetup in New Jersey. Boom. Wait, I'm dropping.
This feels like this feels like complement exposure therapy or something. This feels like complement exposure therapy.
I like it.
And I'm uncomfortable.
Then go away and read the chat.
Yeah, no, chat very kind.
Oh, let's see. May I read one? We don't see it, but we know the hard work you put in, Joel. Simon, am I the only one thinking of Joel? Okay, I'm sorry. We said not to read the chat, but I got distracted. Everybody loves you, Joel. If anyone's
listening to this podcast, they go watch the video on YouTube anyway to see the live chat. That'll be streamed on there.
See, I didn't even mean to be a self.
Well, so far tonight, you've given a quote for me to use that you listened to the podcast in a waiting room, which is amazing. I'm not even going to repeat what that last 5 minutes was about hard work, because I'll never accept it. And no, you're signposting people to the videos. So yeah, basically, you're now my market manager.
Well, I'm here, and Chronic Pain Club, if Joel ever needs a last minute guest and you're like, oh man, that LA Lupus Lady again, I've already heard her talk about slime. I've heard her talk about Lady Gaga's restaurant, heard her talk about mental health. Guess what? I'm a well-rounded person who has more than 40 years experience. Let's talk about patient access. Let's talk about advocacy. Let's talk about medical marijuana and how it can work for you. If Joel has an empty spot, you guys tell him, hey, Amanda Greene, she's got another topic we can talk about. Shameless promotion for the
I don't think you and I would ever run out of topics to talk about. Just little peek behind the curtain, guys. When Amanda comes on the show, I don't prepare anything. I have no pre-prepared questions. I'm fairly relaxed for these anyway, as you probably know, because with my brain fog, I find if I start using like a list or a script I just stumble. I'm much better if I do it off the cuff. But with yourself, Amanda, there is literally 0 point in me preparing anything, because if there's a tangent, we're going to find it. I can't even remember. We're supposed to be talking about mental health awareness and lupus awareness and
mind and body,
promoting the show. Mind and body. Yeah, that was it.
The mind and body of the Chronic Pain Club. When you don't plan to prepare, basically, it's halfway through the month, man. What do you want me to do? I'm having fun with you. Yeah. That's all I want.
This is basically your yard time from awareness.
This is like, yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys can go, you walk your dog, you go walk, I mean, I thank everybody on the team here. Joel, be quiet. Everybody on the Chronic Pain Club team, the seen and the unseen, like lupus, what you can see and what you can't. It's sometimes called an invisible illness. The invisible people behind us that got Joel here, that got me here today. We wouldn't be here without them. And we're grateful to each and every one of you, whether you're in America, UK, Texas, somewhere else. If you're supporting us,
I love that your mind went America, UK, and Texas. Like it's just its own place. Doing a I feel like we should move on from that before we offend anyone.
No, I meant because one of the people in the chat, like if you didn't recognize the name Lindsay Robin, like, my friend Liz, so I was my subtle way of giving a shout out to my friend without being specific. But now I'm like, hi, you know who you are. Sorry, you're like, yeah, I wasn't going to go political at all.
No, the peer support though, like anyone that comes on here and talks about peer support gets a big tick from me, because you know that's kind of how we started. We were just a group of people hanging out online, and then we thought, well, why can't we use that platform for other people to share what they're doing? So I think it's really important, because I'm, you know, my wife, I'm really open about how valuable she is in supporting me, and without her, I don't know if I'd even be here, let alone advocate, and you know whether even Joel the person would still be sort of struggling on. So I think it's really important to highlight that, and so thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate it.
I could say something like this, like chronic pain club is fun, chronic pain is not.
Yeah,
and it's true. Everything that Joel does for you, he does for himself. Like, if you're like, wow, I'm getting so much out of this conversation, what's going on? Like, doesn't Joel understand what he's doing? He's a leader, he's a king. It's like, dude, he's doing it for his own life. The fact that it can help you is bonus. I'm just sharing because I got nothing else to do. It's Sunday morning. What, you want me to go walk out in the sun with a big hat and sunscreen? I mean, yeah, okay. I might be doing that later. But right now, the most important thing in the world is talking about the Chronic Pain Club and the Mind and Body Connection, which of course we didn't do. So maybe I'll have to be back next May.
Yeah. Maybe is this your tactical along, that we have a theme and you just come on? I'm a passenger for 40 minutes, and then we have to get you back to try and pick up the original thing we advertised. It's genius. It's genius. So for anyone that was here last year for our original conversation with Amanda, you'll see us following a very similar theme to what it did last year. It's just I'm a year more experienced now, so I'm a lot more relaxed, and I'm just going with the flow. But first time around, when there was dancing and fancy dress and slime, and it was the actual slime that you brought onto the show last time that meant I couldn't get a podcast out of it, Amanda, because when you listened back to it with no video, the whole thing just sounded horrendous. You could not turn it into a podcast. So if anyone's listening to this or watching this back and would like to see what I'm talking about, head over to youtube.com/Joel vs Arthritis. You can see the first interview and probably get an idea why that never made it onto the podcast. Thankfully, no slime this time.
No slime, just invisible slime. So if you're not watching, it's invisible. Just pretend.
Yeah. But that's a really novel idea, and I think that's important to pick up on that. It's like, because last year you were talking about that and using something really left field and different to raise awareness and draw people's attention, and it certainly did. I know we had lots of chat about it for weeks after that interview, especially in our Discord server. And obviously this time around, you said
I celebrated without cocktails, so it was like celebrating Lupus Awareness Month without the hangover, thanks to Drink Joyous and Joanne Trattoria.
So what else is that up? Or maybe you might have done stuff in the past. I think to try and plant this seed with people, it doesn't just need to be sharing a story for the most likes or shares, move on. We need to be more creative, and we should be more
sitting together in a pub. Do you guys throw darts?
Yeah, badly.
Badly is more fun than goodly. Wait, goodly?
Goodly. Okay, we'll use that. That's fine.
If you want to throw darts and you want to feel like you're just targeting pain, it's like have a dart night. That was just totally random. Go to the park, sit in the shade. Hey, we all can't be in the sun. Let's have an afternoon or a night. Let's go bowling. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be a restaurant. It doesn't have to be slime. It doesn't have to be a Healthy Voices Impact Fund. One person at a time, one friend at a time. That's how you make a difference, Joel. And one podcast
that's a really timely reminder after we've just had our community meetup. We didn't this time, but previous one we done axe throwing, which proved very fun for people with pain and maybe anger. It turned out we were actually quite competitive. We've done neon lighted crazy golf this time around. So I come out there with a bit of a migraine, but yeah, that was fun. So basically adult crazy golf with alcohol and all in bright neon lights.
And now it could be mocktails.
Yeah, yeah. That some of the regulars, I'm not sure how well that'll go down.
Well,
with the
one person
mocktail,
can have if somebody's on a medication and they need mocktails, it's an option to celebrate.
And that's exactly why we do it, though, because, you know, if people need to leave early, if people have to arrive late, if people can't drink, if people can't do a certain activity, it's about creating that space where people can come and take what they like. And I think that's why I do the streaming stuff. And I'll say, like, I'll keep turning up as much as my health permitting. Don't apologize if you haven't been around for 2 months. You know, we might have a bit of a joke about it, but you know, you take out of it what we need. And I think that's the importance of doing creative awareness work, creative advocacy. I don't even know if that's a term, I just coined it. Because about meeting people where they are, and then when they need it, when they're either in that dark place or they need a bit of peer support, they can drop in and get what they need, and they can go again with no judgment, no excuses or explanation needed, you know.
Chronic Pain Club is a judgment-free zone. Welcome to us.
Yeah.
Come back, bring friends. And if you found joy in Chronic Pain Club and you haven't seen every episode, what are you waiting for? Next time you're in a waiting room, pick up your device, go to youtube.com/Joel versus arthritis, and it's all right there.
Absolute.
And then
pro.
You come back, and then you're like in the community and you care. And then you're like, is it May yet? I want to see what Amanda's going to say next.
Just absolute pro. Like, anyone wants a lesson on how to get invited back onto a show, you just come on and just compliment and promote all the way. I don't even know if we've actually covered that much, but we've promoted the Chronic Pain Club, which I feel very guilty about, but none of it was prompted, guys. I'd like to point out none of that was prompted. It's just how Amanda is, and clearly Amanda doesn't just like come in, do the interview and forget about us. You're clearly consuming and part of the community in between, which is amazing. That
in the middle of July, I'll send an Instagram, Joel, are you alive? No. Why are you asking? Because in May you told me you'd be tired in July, and I'm asking, like, oh, what a nice person. I should invite her back next May. Chronic Pain Club. YouTube.com, Joel versus arthritis. This has been so much fun. This lupus awareness, this and this, this moment, that moment right there.
Yeah. And I think it's really important, though. It is important because as a show where every Sunday, and for anyone that's watching this and not really sort of following where we're going with this or anything, every Sunday or most Sundays we're on here. And when you're sharing lived experience, of course, there's going to be some, you know, there's the negative, there's the mental health side. We've talked about suicide. We've talked about, you know, living with permanent pain. We've talked about family members just completely deserting people because they don't understand it, and all that, the dark side that comes to that condition. It's really important we have those conversations, and we'll always continue to have those conversations. But every now and then, why can't we make it more of a social, more of a community thing? Why can't we raise awareness? Because people have had fun. They've been here in chat. They hopefully had a bit of a giggle along the way, but they've probably learned a little bit about lupus that they didn't know before. And so why can't we do it with different approaches? So this is you in a nutshell, Amanda. This entire show is just, tonight has been the Amanda show, and just perfectly highlights how you operate with advocacy and how it's different and so very refreshing, you know.
And also, if you're from the Healthy Voices Committee, Joel and Amanda would like to be tonight, Joel and Amanda would like to be taken off the wait list, and we'd like to hang out at Healthy Voices 24. What? I can talk about Chronic Pain Club, and I can talk about Healthy Voices. Joel, this is my ad.
As a reserved Brit, this is very foreign to me. As somebody just, I want this, I'm going to go get it.
Healthy Voices, between the two of us, this is what you want, right? A patient advocate leader and a patient. You got a bald guy and you got a woman with too much hair. What's up? Come on. Together, we're the perfect advocate. Bring us both to Healthy Voices. And don't forget to go back after you know, while Healthy Voices is doing that, if you're not part of Healthy Voices, you matter. And if you're part of the Chronic Pain Club and you're here and you're watching live, or in a month or in a week, or maybe in 11 months when we're promoting my next May, Joel versus arthritis on all platforms, the Chronic Pain Club on YouTube. YouTube.com, Joel versus arthritis. Go watch the Chronic Pain Club with me so you'll get like a sense of what the heck you're about to experience, which basically could be totally different because no two patients are alike. And that's what we need.
I think this show has proven, Amanda, quite clearly that no two patients are alike. Anyone that's used
Nobody's
to
like
listening to me
this.
being all serious, and yeah.
So one thing lupus is not contagious. My energy is infectious, but lupus is not contagious. So don't worry if you watch my videos and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get some of this. It's like, no, it's not. But if you find some energy and you find some desire to advocate, or you find that you want to be on Chronic Pain Club yourself, reach out to Joel. Oh my God, you've got more content. You've got more community. That's it. This is it. If I haven't inspired you to find your smile or laugh today, that's mind and body connected.
You have. Yeah, we've had a rough week. My son's been sick, which has then meant today trying to do family stuff, which should have been fun, has also been a challenge. My wife and I are pretty much just going to sit down with a bottle after this and just sigh and think, well, that was the weekend gone. So the fact that you have made me laugh probably more in this sort of 40 minutes or so than I have in the last couple of days put together, you've done your bit, Amanda. So there we go. Take that with you. And I can't offer the same compliments you've managed to produce, like some sort of like copyrighter tonight, but yeah, you can take that one with you.
I really am. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share my story with you, your community and my community and our community.
I don't feel like you have shared your story as much as you probably should have done, but
I'll come back next year and I'll have a script. I'm so sorry.
As long as you're happy, promoting this show and talking about various sort of events that you want to speak at, then that's fine. It's your space. How you use the time is up
Healthy
to you,
Voices 24. We're getting off the wait list, and I'm sharing that Chronic Pain Club is an empowering place. And whether it's a place in my heart or a place on the internet, it's a place where we are all welcome 365 days a year. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you for coming, Amanda. Thank you for once again making me a complete passenger on my own show for the second year run. And we should probably go for the hat trick at some point. And I have like a little notepad file open where I have like name and pronouns and titles and things I'm going to talk about. I haven't been able to look at that once. We'll pick that back up next time.
Here, give me one.
No, I was going to ask about. All right, we'll do one more. So I was going to ask. Obviously, it's Lupus Awareness Month. I know you live with multiple chronic conditions. How do you balance that? Obviously, because you're raising awareness, but there's all that crossover, and it must be quite hard to know. You know, say you have a flare, which bit is playing a part there with all the multiple autoimmune diseases, and it was basically about like how do you look after yourself and everything else.
Well, I like to find my flare while avoiding a flare, so I spell flare with an A-I-R.
Yep,
I like that one. I like flare.
Yeah, I like that.
And so what do? I try and balance. So like maybe I'll listen to music, I'll go to therapy, I'll talk to friends. But the goal with me is to try and balance each day. Like wake up, what's today going to be? Because I could go to bed and say, oh, tomorrow's going to be great. But my body wakes up and like, wow, you have Chronic Pain Club today and you didn't put on a bra. Sorry. Maybe you can't see that.
No, we couldn't, but thank you anyway.
Okay, well, the reality is the reality.
Just when I thought the curveballs were done.
If you're a woman with chronic pain, you know what that means. If you're a man, maybe I could explain it to you. Sometimes it hurts to put the strap on.
That has come up on the show before. Yeah, it has.
Okay. So Sunday morning, Joel, in all honesty, you can't see anything and there's no bra on. It's not pornography. It's the reality of Lupus Awareness Month, May 19th. So how do I balance it? Some days I don't have a bra on. Some days I wear a really supportive bra and ramp up. And I turn it around. I hook it up in the front, and then I don't want to give you the image there. Never mind.
No, that's fine.
Wow. How did that? Flare is good. I have a neon light that says flare. So when I can't find my flare, I literally plug it in. And there it is. Oh, look, it's on the wall. I've been looking all day for my flare, and it's on the wall behind me. Of course, right now you're looking at a movie poster.
I think
Oh,
most people are still thinking about the bra fit and
I'm trying
suggestions.
to give them another image. It's not working.
I'm pretty sure anything you said in the last minute has not sunk into anyone listening or watching this.
Okay, the Chronic Pain Club is available at youtube.com/Joel versus arthritis. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine, absolutely fine.
I was driving the train and then I went off the rails.
So I nearly asked that question by saying, "How long do you think we can stay on track with this one?" And yeah, we went, we went.
It's no accident. Welcome to the Chronic Pain Club. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, we really don't, as proven tonight. Well, to be fair, Amanda, I think if you come on for a third time, we're starting to get an idea what we're going to get, and that's going to be randomness and fun and looking at advocacy in a different way and raising awareness in a different way. And it's so healthy as well, because like take me, like normally these, it's not like a self-pity thing, and I'm struggling. I don't like having that conversation, but sometimes these can weigh heavy. You know, there might be a particular show where I'm thinking about it all day. It means I'm not present with my son. I'm worried about it. I know it's going to be a difficult subject. I'm worried about my audience, all that sort of thing, and it weighs heavy. And the fact that we've done this tonight and it's just been a laugh for an hour is amazing and shows that it can be done differently. And we've still put serious points in there. We've still talked about the awareness work that you do, and the
Next time, bring a box of Kleenex. I'll make you cry.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna shock us, like come in with a totally different angle and surprise everyone. Amanda, I'm conscious of time. I don't know where that sort of 45 minutes has gone. But thank you so much for coming on for a second time. Hopefully that helped people. Time. Yeah, I don't think I have a choice. Again, like I say, thank you for making me a complete passenger of my own show, Amanda. It's been brilliant. Very lighthearted and fun. Really enjoyed it, and it just encapsulates how you advocate and the energy you bring to your advocacy work. So on behalf of all the lovely comments in chat and everybody that's watching us tonight live and anyone listening back, thank you so much for returning. Really appreciate it, and keep up the good work, and remember to look after you this Lupus Awareness Month.
I'm truly grateful for you, Joel, and everybody on the Chronic Pain Club team and the community. Like I said, everybody makes me feel so warm. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, you put a smile on her face. So thank you for joining us, Amanda. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you next year.
Guys, so nice to see the messages in chat. Let me try and feature a few that might have not made it up whilst Amanda was still with us, so they can see it. Even now in the green room, Amanda is so animated and energetic. I wish I had an energy. This show would look very different on a Sunday night. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Like I say, the takeaway from that is that, and it comes really well timed for anyone that's following my social media and will know that I came in for a bit of stick this week, because how dare I advocate and not be as sick as the worst case scenario. And that's a really dangerous subject, by the way, because I live with psoriatic disease, and there's lots of social media accounts out there where having the most rashes is celebrated. But what we're really doing in that scenario, we are celebrating the most poorly managed or uncontrolled, or in some cases unmedicated version of that disease, because people are chasing likes rather than chasing what matters to managing those conditions. So for somebody to drop in on my socials and basically say I'm not sick enough to do what we do here or what I do with my advocacy work, it hurt for about 5 seconds. But then I remembered the conversations we had with Amanda last year and others, and reminding people that yes, we can celebrate the wins, and it's okay to celebrate the wins because we're also doing the hard graft as well. So I think it's really nice to be able to do something a little bit different tonight, and hopefully we practiced what we preached in that subject in terms of yes, it's important the conversations that we have on this show, and some of them can get very dark sometimes, and we have to signpost and make sure the audience are okay. But occasionally we can do it in a different way and take a slightly different angle. And I'm hoping this time, without the noise of all the slime being used like we had on the last show, we might be able to get that into a podcast. If anyone missed the first one, please go check out the video on YouTube. It's there. Just search if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a Chronic Pain Club playlist, and it's got all the edited videos, so we chop off all of this me waffle before and afterwards. So if you want to watch the whole thing, they go live from the minute I end the stream, and you can find them under previous live streams, the playlist previous live streams. If you want to watch just the interview, which let's be honest, most of you don't want to hear me waffling on, go to the Chronic Pain Club playlist and you'll be able to find all our previous conversations on there, which is just from the guest being here to the guest leaving, and you can go watch that back. And it was awesome. Awesome conversation, but it was very visual, which made it difficult to turn into a podcast. So I might actually, we do have an editor now of our podcast who's doing an amazing job. I might actually see if he could take the 2 episodes and somehow take key messages and put it into one lupus awareness podcast. That might work. And we wouldn't get that out in time for May, but that's something we could try. Speaking of the podcast, guys, whilst I still have your probably limited attention by this point, because this is all much more serious than what Amanda was bringing in her energy, the podcast is going to Europe next month in person. So next month I will be at EULAR, the big rheumatology, European Rheumatology Conference, and I will be on the IFPA booth recording medical professionals, key opinion leaders, patient organizations. Hopefully there's some patients there as well. We seem to be a slightly growing number, thankfully, now. If anyone wants to come and talk about psoriatic disease, it will be psoriatic disease specifically, because I'm there working with IFPA. But if anyone wants to come and talk about what they're doing at the conference, what they hope to see, anything around sort of psoriatic arthritis, psoriasis, etc., then come and find us on booth. I think it's 022. Let me check my notes. It is 022, booth 022. I will be there every day of EULAR next month, and I will have my podcast recorder with me, and we'll be doing little 5-minute interviews with people. And then get this, because we're some well-oiled machine now, this is what Amanda would say if I was bringing US energy to it. I'd be saying, because we're massive production values, and I'd use some hands and probably have more animated facial expressions than I do naturally. Amanda's in the green room cheering me on, which is awesome. What we're actually doing is we're recording on day 1. That then goes off. It's getting edited up into a podcast, and we're getting that podcast out in time for breakfast on the following day. And then the idea is that the attendees at EULAR will listen to that either over breakfast or on their commute to the conference, and it will then tell them that we're there. They can come along, have an interview, and get involved. So we're hoping to build up momentum as the week goes on. So yes, first time we'd have done that 24-hour turnaround. Well, it'll be less than 20. It'll be 12-hour turnaround. Taking all of those interviews on the day and getting them out the next morning. But we're going to do that for every day at EULAR. And then the ones I record on the Saturday, because I'll be flying home, we'll get them out on the following Monday. So keep a lookout for that. There'll also be something drop into the podcast feed to tell people that's going on. And then we will, what else are we doing? I'm in Stockholm as well next month, where I'll be at the IFPA conference, recording there as well, but there'll be things that come out later in the year, so keep your eye out for those. And as I said at the start of the show, if you weren't with us at the start of the show, because of people moving things around, conference season, etc., we've got some availability in July, and also the last week of May, the first week of June on the show. So people have just moved. They haven't cancelled anything. They're just because of conferences, and it's a mad time of year, as Amanda was sharing with us earlier. We've had to shuffle the diary around a little bit. So if you have either a lived experience to tell, so we can raise awareness of that and reduce stigma and help raise education, etc., around that condition, then get in touch. If you're a patient organization, you want to talk about the good work you're doing, let us know. Doesn't have to, none of this has to be limited to chronic pain, guys. It's just a broad term. Let's be honest, we call it the Chronic Pain Club because it's a memorable name. It helps us have like an umbrella thing a badge to wear, but it's not limited to pain. If you're a medical professional, we are getting more and more medical professionals on. Those you will know, obviously we had the Professor Elise Pryor interview recently, was our most watched live stream ever, which was amazing. So if you're a medical professional, want to talk about the work you're doing or how you're working with patients or trying to close that gap to more collaborative work, we are all for collaboration, shared decision making, co-production, multidisciplinary approaches. If that's your sort of thing, if you're doing good work in that area, then please do get in touch. And I'm probably going to stop talking there because chat's gone quiet, which means I'm probably going on too much. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Lauren, I did see you drop in during the show. Thank you for joining us. Lindsay, thank you for being present and by the sounds of it, representing Texas. And anyone that knew that was joining, guys, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching, please hit the like, subscribe, or whatever the equivalent button is so you get notified next time we're live. It really does help us, but more importantly, it helps us reach more people that might need our support. We are a peer support community first and foremost. You can find more of that peer support over on our, over on our Discord community where lots of people you saw tonight hanging out in chat are there during the week. So if you want to get involved with that, if you want to get involved with our community meetups, if you want to be the first to hear about what we're working on, and trust me, we've got some huge news coming on later down the line, something my family are working on to try and improve patient outcomes, because obviously this is great. We raise awareness, we hopefully land with a couple of people, but if we want to really move the needle, then we need to do stuff that can be more hands-on. And yeah, we've got plans for that. It's probably going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back for me, but we'll keep going until we have an impact, if we're not already. So have a look on there. That's where we will be during the week, in between live streams. And I think, guys, until next time, that probably wraps it all up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment on the video when it comes out. And thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed tonight, and it made that wait ahead of Monday morning with whatever you're dealing with long-term health conditions, pain or otherwise, a little bit easier, knowing that you're not alone. Enjoy what's left of your weekend, guys. Speak soon. Bye-bye.